My name is Liliana Powers, and I will be giving an informative speech on the coffee trends. The National Coffee Association informs us that coffee was originally founded by a farmer in Ethiopia who realized that his goats were becoming super hyper and super active and not sleeping through the night after eating from a specific bush. The specific bush later becomes known as the coffee bean plant. Over time, this plant travels across the world, mainly on Asia and South Africa. People attempted to try and plant it in the Netherlands and in Denmark, but it was very unsuccessful, and then it was brought to the US where it flourished greatly. It was originally brought to the US around the 1700s into what is now known as New York, but at the time was called New Denmark. Leading up to the Boston Tea Party, tea was still America's #1 drink of choice, but after the tax rise in tea, Thomas Jefferson calls coffee the favorite drink of the civilized world, thus creating its popularity to grow and skyrocket, and it is now one of the most common drinks in our country. Americans, on average, over the past 5 years, have consumed 25.5 million 60-kilogram bags of coffee. That is a lot of coffee. That's on average about 500 million cups of coffee a year, averaging about 2.5 cups a day if your cup is 9 ounces. If it's not, you're probably drinking way more. 70% of coffee is consumed is considered gourmet, also meaning it is purchased, not made at home. The 70% does include majority of millennials who are more younger, hipster, don't have the time to go and make their own coffee. They would rather just spend the money and buy it. However, the use of single-serve machines has skyrocketed to 50%, which is due to COVID, according to Statista. With COVID and everyone being stuck at home, people began to go through withdrawals and wanting their caffeine fix, so they had to purchase their single-serve machines and learn how to make it themselves. How coffee has changed over the years is greatly significant. It started at just being brewed over a wooden stove, over a roaring fire, with very little added ingredients, maybe a little bit of sugar, a little bit of milk, but other than that, it was just drinking straight black, and it took a couple of hours or a couple of minutes to brew, depending on how hot your fire and your wooden stove would get. Nowadays, your coffee can be brewed in under 5 minutes in your kitchen, your room, your dorm, wherever you want, with just a nice little single-serve coffee pot. And nowadays, you can add as much cream and sugar as you want, caramel drizzle, caramel flavoring, creamer. You have so many options. It's almost considered disgusting to drink it black, even though that's how I drink it. The latest coffee trends, according to Brew Smartly right now, are Dalgona coffee, which is also known as whipped coffee, which grew in popularity over quarantine because people thought it was a new, fun, and exciting way to create their coffee. Dalgona coffee includes taking coffee grounds, sugar, and water and grinding it up until it is in a fluffy substance, and then pouring it or popping it over a glass of ice cold cream, milk, whatever you like to mix your coffee with. This coffee originated in Greece and is actually a quite common form to be served coffee in that country. The second coffee trend is filtered papers that are now becoming reusable. So instead of buying your little crummy paper one-time use and destroying the environment, you can now purchase long-lasting, almost glass-like and plastic-like filters where you put them into where you would put your filter paper and pour your coffee grounds in and brew like normal, and becomes a drip. And then when you're done, drink your coffee, enjoy your day, you can take this filter out and wash it and then reuse it again. And this is a constant reuse. There is no lifelong, and it's just on and on. You don't have to stop. So not only is this environmentally friendly, but this will also save people so much money in not having to purchase coffee filters over and over again. Third and finally, the most popular coffee beverages of 2020 are cold brew, cappuccino, and flat white, with cappuccino being the fastest growing beverage. Cold brew is just your state-of-the-art iced black coffee, pour it over, that's it. A cappuccino is the one you're going to get with more flavoring. You get sugar, caramel, chocolate, all of that fun stuff. Your seasonal drinks are typically cappuccinos. It almost always includes steamed milk or cream or some other form of either dairy or non-dairy liquid. And finally, you have a flat white, which is where you pour in coffee, steamed milk, and then you pour in espresso. Some people will do espresso al dente, which means you pour the espresso in first, and then other people will get an espresso upside down, where the espresso is actually poured in last, depending on how you drink it. If you drink it with a straw, you'd want it poured in first so that you get that hit immediately. Or if you drink it hot or without a straw, you'd want it poured in last, so then you get it in your first sip. Thank you.